Thanks for visiting Great Western Building Systems. I'm sure most of you have been following our channel and Great Western for a while, but for those of you that are new, thanks for checking us out. I hope this teaches you something. Today I'm going to give a quick update on our plant, our current manufacturing tonnage, and then I'll go over some market information as it relates to our industry. It's a mixed bag of good and concerning, but all in all, everything is pretty positive. We'll put some timestamps down below if you want to skip around a little bit, but this video really shouldn't be too long. As most of you know, Great Western consolidated its manufacturing late last year, and we've been bringing a new facility online here in Grand Junction. Since December, we've been slowly bringing on additional capacity as we get our staff trained and new equipment online. And while we're still experiencing delays with some of the equipment providers, up to 6 months for some of the machines, we've really been doing our best to work around those delays. And many of you want to know when our new beam line will be completed. Well, I don't have an exact date. That line should be delivered to the shop sometime towards the middle of this month. It's April. It's a big line, over 400 foot long altogether, and it does take some serious effort to get it all set up. But commissioning in the shop will take about 3 weeks once we receive it, and I look forward to sharing that machine, that whole line with you very soon. I've received many calls about our current production levels and our future forecasts. As I mentioned, we've been stepping up our volume, or the volume of fabrication and shipments since December, but for the most part it's been incremental. March was quite a bit different, and this month, April, is a big step forward. Production for March was double February, and we're going to double March this month as well. And so long as our beam line is commissioned somewhere around the first week of May, and we don't experience any significant allotment and pricing issues, which I'm going to discuss here in a moment, May is going to be the largest volume gain as far as sheer tonnage goes. To give you an idea, in March, we shipped around 360,000 pounds, and we're on track to ship just over 700,000 pounds this month in April. So long as everything holds true, May will be just over 1.5 million pounds total weight shipped, and our monthly tonnage target going on into the summer is right at 2 million total pounds. Our shipping department has transitioned from shipping 1 to 2 trucks per week back in January to 4 to 5 currently. This month or later in the month, we'll be doing 2 full semis per day, and we expect to ramp that up to 16 to 20 trucks per week sometime in June. It's been a steep learning curve for the guys in the shop and out in the shipping yard, but they've exceeded my expectations, and I really want to thank each and every one of them personally. They've been doing great. Upgrades to the shop are mostly complete. I can't tell you how happy I'm going to be to see all the little odds and ends completed. We have 4 new bridge cranes installed, and upgrades to the existing cranes are being completed. Our paint line is now fully functional, and we'll be bringing on an oven later this summer to speed up cure time, which will be very helpful, especially when the weather turns cold again. We also have some aesthetic improvements going on over the next couple of months. Lots of works in the shipping areas with upgrades to the lot, new asphalt going in, these ramps are going to be fixed, new paint on the exterior of the shop and the office building. And the first phase of the office build out is actually basically complete, just waiting on countertops and a few other things. And hopefully our new flagpole will be installed prior to this video going out. The guys are out there installing it right now actually. That about gets us onto the market or the industry update that I said I would do. But like always, if you have any questions, please drop us a line. And if you're ever in the area, stop by so we can give you a plant tour. I'm almost always here, and I do enjoy giving those tours very much. Actually, first, a little background on what happened in 2020 and 2021. I can't help myself no matter how hard I try to keep these videos short, but bear with me. During the pandemic, the service centers basically panic sold their inventories, and the mills cut production to levels, levels really not seen since 2008 and 2009, or like the Great Recession. And this was great for short-term steel costs, but going into December of 2020, and especially into spring and summer last year, steel inventories were all but depleted, and the mills hadn't yet ramped up capacity. This caused massive shortages and historically high prices. To pile onto this mess, commercial and residential construction was booming, and of course that led to extended lead time in our industry, and also the high price of lumber put a lot of pressure on the structural steel construction industry as well. It was just, less expensive or equally as expensive to upgrade to steel construction rather than like pole barns. Was a big thing. Those things almost tripled in cost. Anyways, because of this, the rise in steel prices, or because of the rise in steel prices, I should say, the mills, they did act quickly, and they took full advantage of the good margins that they had, and even brought U.S. steel production to new highs in both tonnage and profits. Seriously, if you want to see some mind-boggling profit numbers, you should look over the earnings reports from the last few quarters for Nucor, U.S., Cleveland-Cliffs, etc. Clearly, I'm in the wrong segment of the steel industry, but even with this expanded capacity, many mills are bringing on new facilities or expanding their current facilities, or both, particularly Nucor, SDI, BlueScope. The SDI's new Texas facility is nearly 100% operational, and I forget the tonnage estimates, but it's more than a lot. Because of all of this, we started to see small decreases in cost. But most importantly, material was becoming widely available. Last month, we were even able to spot buy from numerous mills, and the service centers, for the most part, had all products readily available. Now on to some current events. Over the last several months, we've seen significant price increase for pretty much everything. But the steel supply was actually looking softer, or actually more stable than it had been for a long time, evidently caused by the capacity increase by the U.S. mills. However, this outlook has taken a bit of a turn. And while Great Western only buys from U.S. suppliers, the sanctions being levied against Russia are putting new demand on the domestic markets from the European buyers. I guess to put it bluntly, raw materials are moving higher, and they're going to continue to do so. Particularly scrap is the big thing that I've noticed. While I don't believe that scrap price necessarily is a good to use as an indicator to forecast new steel pricing. After all, when steel was at record highs in September and October last year, scrap was almost worthless. However, scrap has risen by more than $100 a ton, or did rise by more than $100 a ton in March, and it's continuing to go higher. For me, this is clear evidence of raw material shortages. Both Russian and Ukrainian pig iron, as well as the slabs, are no longer available to the U.S. and European markets. Russia because of sanctions, and Ukraine, Ukraine because, they're kind of busy right now. But to pile on to this, these massive increases, the increase in energy prices and climate efforts has the European producers pretty much idling capacity. This means that U.S. domestic steel is looking more and more attractive to the overseas buyers. Right now, the domestic mills have full order books, and they appear to be sitting back. Lead times are extending, and actually up until last week, Nucor's Tuscaloosa plate mill hadn't even opened up purchasing for May. To put this into, give you an idea here, Great Western has 2 rail cars, or almost 200 tons of plate products to purchase for May and June production. Fortunately, we were able to secure the steel last week, although we did have to pay a significant surcharge to get it. Since the onset of the Russian invasion, spot pricing that is available has increased by over $400 a ton. This is, pretty much the most current data I have, and it's about 2 weeks old. Long story short, because the availability of raw materials is in such question, the mills just aren't willing to produce more tons. And in fact, Cleveland-Cliffs has idled, I think they've idled 2 of their furnaces, one forever. And there's a lot of reason that steel is not only going to become less available in the short term, but when it is available, it's going to be worth a premium. Last year, most products hit $2,000 per ton, or $1 a pound. And for steel, this is a crazy number. And we're already nearly there again. I guess the question I have is, are these high prices and lack of availability going to kill the demand? It certainly didn't last year. It's not all doom and gloom. The forecasts I was reading from the industry analysis last month were above what we're actually seeing. And as of right now, everything appears to be going just fine. And I do want to stress that I am no expert in economics or supply chain. I'm just a metal building guy. And all I can tell you, is that these allocations and the uncertainty, it has to have an end, and it can't continue for too long. At the end of the day, US capacity is ready to explode. And these high prices of raw materials will most likely open up new sources that have been ignored. And also, this bull came on fast and out of nowhere. I'm hopeful that it goes away just as quickly. When it does, we're going to be in fantastic shape. Not just Great Western, but the entire steel industry. Well, that about wraps it up, and I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video. Sorry that I just kind of went on and on, as I often do. But as always, I'm available to answer any questions and provide my opinions, solicited or otherwise. And I am going to try to do an update on Great Western, the manufacturing, and the market here in a few weeks or maybe a month. And who knows, maybe I'll talk about the mess that is long-haul trucking. Anyways, take care and build great.